Assalamualaikum. In this video, you will be able to learn about fractions. You will be able to understand and learn what are fractions, part of fractions, type of fractions, and operations of fractions. What are fractions? Fractions are for counting part of something. Loosely speaking, a fraction is a quantity that cannot be represented by a whole number. A fraction is a number that can represent part of a whole. The earliest fractions were reciprocals of integers, ancient symbols representing 1 part of 2, 1 part of 3, 1 part of 4, and so on. A much later development were the common or vulgar fractions which are still used today, such as 1 over 2, 5 over 8, 3 over 4, and etc. Examples of fractions. These pictures below shows the examples of fractions. The stopwatch shows 55 over 60. The cake shows 11 over 12. A pizza is showing 1 over 8. An apple shows 1, 2 over 10. The pie shows 1 over 12 and the kiwi shows 1 over 2. Part of fractions. The denominator tells us how many congruent pieces the whole is divided into. Thus, this number cannot be 0. The numerator tells us how many such pieces are being considered. This is the numerator. It tells you about the number of parts, and this is the denominator, which tells you the name of part. Examples. How much of a pizza do we have below? The blue circle is our whole. If we divide the whole into 8 congruent pieces, the denominator would be 8. We can see that we have 7 of these pieces. Therefore, the numerator is 7, and we have 7 over 8 of a pizza. Next is the types of fractions. Fractions are divided into 5 parts, which are proper fractions and improper fractions, mixed fractions, like fractions and unlike fractions, unit fractions and whole fractions, and equivalent fractions. The first one, proper and improper fractions. In proper fractions, the numerator is less than the denominator, such as 1 over 2, 3 over 4, and 2 over 7. In improper fractions, the numerator is greater than the denominator, such as 4 over 2, 9 over 5, or 6 over 6. Every whole number is improper fractions, such as 24. Mixed fractions. In mixed fractions, a whole number and a proper fractions are together, such as 2, 1 over 4, and 16, 2 over 5. Mixed fractions and improper fractions are same. We can use any to show the same amount. For example, this pizza shows that 1, 3 over 4 is equals to 7 over 8 of the pizza. Next page will teach you how to convert fractions. First, improper fractions to mixed fractions. Divide the numerator by the denominator. The quotient is the leading number, while the remainder is the new numerator. Second one, mixed fractions to improper fractions. Multiply the whole number with the denominator and add the numerator to it. The answer is the numerator and the denominator is the same. Like and unlike fractions. In like fractions, the denominators of the fractions are the same, such as 1 over 5, 8 over 5, 3 over 5, and 4 over 5. In unlike fractions, the denominators of the fractions are different, such as 5 over 4, 5 over 1, 5 over 8, and 5 over 3. Unit fractions and whole fractions. In unit fractions, the numerator of the fractions is 1, such as 1 over 2, 1 over 4, and 1 over 9. In whole fractions, the denominators of the fractions is 1, such as 5 over 1, 8 over 1, and 3 over 1. Equivalent fractions. They are the fractions that may have many different appearances but are same. In the following picture, we have 1 over 2 of a cake, as the cake is divided into two congruent parts and we have only one of those parts. But if we cut the cake into smaller congruent pieces, we can see that 1 over 2 equals to 2 over 4 equals to 4 over 8 and equals to 3 over 6. Operations of fractions. There are 4 operations of fractions, such as additions, subtraction, divisions, and multiplication. Adding fractions. Addition means combining objects in 2 or more sets. The object must be of the same type. In example, we combine bundles with bundles and sticks with sticks. In fractions, we can only combine pieces of the same size. In other words, the denominators must be the same. Let's look at the examples of adding fractions with the same denominators. 3 over 6 plus 2 over 6 equals to 5 over 6. Add the numerator and leave the denominator as it is. Next, let's look at the examples of adding with the different denominators. If there are different denominators in the fractions, then we change them to like fractions. For example, 1 over 3 plus 2 over 5. We change 1 over 3 to 5 over 15 and 2 over 5 to 6 over 15. When we add them up, we got 11 over 15. Next, subtracting fractions. Subtraction means taking objects away. The object must be of the same type. We can only take away apples from a group of apples. In fractions, we can only take away pieces of the same size. In other words, the denominators must be the same. Let's look at examples of subtracting fractions with the same denominators. 4 over 6 minus 2 over 6 equals to 2 over 6. Subtract the numerator and leave the denominator as it is. Next, let's look at examples of different denominators. If there are different denominators in the fractions, then we change them to the like fractions, such as 2 over 3 minus 2 over 5. We change 2 over 3 equals to 10 over 15 and 2 over 5 equals 6 over 15, and we get 4 over 15 as the answer. Next, multiplying fractions. To multiply fractions, we multiply both the numerators and the denominators separately. For example, 2 over 4 times 3 over 2. We multiply 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, and we get 3 over 4. Next is the dividing fractions. To divide fractions, we change the second fractions with its reciprocal. Then multiply the reciprocal with the first fractions. For example, 2 over 5, 2 over 4 divide 4 over 5. Multiply 2 and 5 and 4 and 4, and we get 5 over 8. For more understanding, just watch this video. After you watch these videos, inshallah you will understand fractions better. The end. Thank you.